I think I have established good credibility just half an hour ago for being short. So when we say short presentation, it's actually short. So this is something that we put together essentially to share with the community who's gathered here. That how do we view this dedication and how we believe that in our own humble way we are going to play a part by this dedication in deepening and expanding the larger-than-life legacy of H.M. Habib. So that's how it starts, building legacies through generations. So it's just 6 things. This is essentially the limitation of the PowerPoint. A university could be many more things. So we essentially picked some key features that what exactly a university represents. But what is most important for us and for any great university and aspiring to be a great university like ourselves is to bring and cultivate a community which owns and invests in the university's mission. This is something fundamental now in this day and age. The greatest universities who are around now for 1,000 years pride themselves by remembering and continuing to expand their legacies. This is a relatively new university in the scheme of things. This is about a 100-year-old university. This is just to, without even maybe consciously knowing it, so many of our community members and someone like Zahra are essentially following the footsteps of creating legendary institutions. So this was the humble start. Leland Stanford lost Leland Stanford Jr. And the legend has it, the Harvard Walas like me say that he went to Yale, the Yale Walas say no, they went to Harvard, because there's a bad ending to that story, that Mr. and Mrs. Stanford waited for, just like Ali Habib and H.M. Habib, for all day with the president of either Harvard or Yale to meet to make a donation. Because they were sort of farmers from Western United States, so they didn't appear palatable enough for the aristocratic crowd of the New England Ivy League institutions. So they weren't given much heed to. So eventually somebody ran into them and was like, why are you giving? And when they knew about the scale of that donation, which was in 1890 about $20 million, they said that you can actually make a better university than Harvard with this money. So there they go, the rest is history. So this is how Leland Stanford Junior University came into being, short 100 and some years ago. And the mission is not too different from what we aspire to have at Habib University. But a great start like that becomes a platform to foster co-legacies. So there you go. Very quickly, it trained a future US president. Bill Gates, who has nothing to do with Stanford, right? He famously went to Harvard and dropped out, has donated heavily at Stanford. So did Phil Knight, who was a founder of Nike. And even someone from this part of the world, Ali Habib's old class fellow at Habib Public School, he donated very generously to create a chair on Islam at Stanford University. So such is the disparate, diverse range of communities that a great institution is capable of cultivating. This is our journey, right? This is essentially just a snapshot of some unveiling we did. HM is right there, right? Right next to HM, Muhammad Ali Habib. So he's part of the founding community. Right? This is how it started. Where we have put this plate, it actually has a quote of, famous quote of Margaret Mead, which I won't be able to quote it precisely, but it generally says that never underestimate the influence of a group of thoughtful citizens to change the world, a small group of thoughtful citizens to change the world. In fact, that's the only thing that ever has. Right? So this is our group of thoughtful citizens who got together. Yeah, here you go. Okay, it was there. I didn't mean to butcher it. So from there, this is a picture of an event in April of 2013, which Saida Habib hosted and HM at their home. This is, of course, a beautiful picture of the HM Habib family. But what is above is what we call our wall of Mohsinin, which is already paying homage and celebrating the community we are bringing together. So community is expanding horizontally, and in this case now even vertically. This is the most prominent space we have on campus. I'm going to explain in a second that what makes it even more prominent in the scheme of our mission statement, which is Kim Kulli Imri Ma Yosan. So Yosan, which is written right here, those who can read Arabic can read it, but those who cannot, right at the end, it's Yosan. Right? So it emanates from the Arabic root, and the first root it emanates from is Husn, which is beauty or grace or elegance. And we have subscribed 5 colors to 5 adjectives that we could find which resonate with Yosan. So Yosan is Husn, which is beauty, Ahsan, which is goodness, Hasan, which is excellence, Ihsan, which is service. So we have essentially tried to capture that through the language of colors. And the color for beauty that we picked is blue, because we thought that if God has chosen this as his parda, as this most dominant color in the scheme of this planet, right? So it is known as the blue dot, even from the cosmos. So that has to have some deep meaning of beauty, or divine beauty. And this is the only wall we have, because we wanted to use it sparingly. The only where you will find blue color at Habib University is on this wall of this auditorium. So this is a beautiful space. We celebrated with the Yosan ascription of beauty. Yellow is excellence. So this space you will see in this video really prides itself in hosting the indicators of excellence from around the world. Passion, right, is part of which is you give something of yourself. This is a great, interesting, passionate place, a lot of interesting interactions and discourses have happened, and of course, cultural appearances. And this is again where I'm standing. It is respect, right? So we hosted a TEDx, which is differing ideas. Respect is the most ubiquitous color at Habib University, and we picked gray for it, right? Because respect is neither black or white, right? So you're willing to accept differing opinions, and gray represents that. And our own color, service. So purple is Habib University's color, and this is the spirit of this institution. That's something that all our students live by. So if you come around on campus, we all have different colors of ribbon, and students have purple. Okay? So we remind them that you're here, eventually we are investing in you to be of service to each other and to the world. And I won't be naming them, but there are so many icons of service already in this audience, and people who have served this university and served Pakistan as a result. This is an ayat that we have used on our wall of Mohsinin. Right? And there's a particular reason to use this ayat. This is the 148th ayat of Al Imran, which is the 3rd surah. Mohsin is another derivative of Yosan. That Allah will give the reward to the ones who do good for others in this world, and of course in the next. And in this vertical donation of the HM Habib family, we're seeing both. we're seeing that how we are admiring HM who is in heaven in this world and sending the reward in the hereafter. But we found another one with another derivative of yours, a very famous excerpt of an ayat from Surah Bani Israel, which is Surah Isra. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Do good for you. Remember them with ihsan. Right? Again, it is resonating so much. If you look at Yosan, Mohsineen, ihsan, it appears, even if people were not trained in Arabic, you will see the resonance. So that's the memory that we have. We are here, gathered here to honor a family that have done good for their parents. Thank you, HM Wasif family.
This is my first talk in Pakistan. I'm absolutely delighted to be here.
And I have to say that it's particularly wonderful to come to Habib University and to see such a wonderful combination of vision and ambition.
Habib University is a beautiful idea.
So I was really keen to come to Pakistan's first liberal arts university.
Thank you, Wasif Saab, for reminding us all of the importance and the beauty of building community, which is figuratively and literally embodied in the space HM Wasif Auditorium.